dear students. I am Dr. Shikha Pandey, Associate Professor from the Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today, the topic of this video lecture is the mineral resource and land resource and their use and over exploitation. So now let's start the lecture with the outline of today's outline. What is the outline of today's lecture is that we'll discuss about the mineral resource and their extraction from ores, the life cycle of a metal resource and their mining, classification of mineral resource of India, land resource, land degradation, and soil erosion and their types, and then control of soil erosion. Now comes to the next slide, that is mineral resource. So first we will discuss about what is mineral. Mineral is nothing but it is a naturally occurring materials in the earth crust that can be extracted and made into useful product in process that provide economic benefits and jobs. So their types are fossil fuel, metallic and non-metallic. So first of all, fossil fuel is nothing but the coal we will found from the beneath the earth, and the metallic mineral are those minerals that are metallic properties like aluminium, iron, coppers. So and next is non-metallic. Non-metallic is nothing but the sand, gravels, limestone, salt, some precious gems. These are the non-metallic minerals. So from where we'll get that mineral? We'll get these mineral from earth crust and their deposition, and the place where mineral is concentrated, where mineral is totally present, is called as mineral deposits. So we'll extract minerals from the mineral deposits, and that place is called as mineral deposit. And at that place many minerals are accumulated. So next is ore, from where first we will extract ore from beneath the earth, and then we will extract from that minerals, and the ore is the mineral from that is a metal, and the waste that is metal formed is called as gangue. So sometimes two type of ore is there, like high quality ore and low quality ore. So as the name suggests, like the high quality ore is the ore where large amount of mineral will get, and low is the will get a small amount of desired mineral. So this is the basic properties. So this is the basic discussion about the mineral resource. That is, mineral is nothing but that is which we will get from the earth crust, and that is present beneath the earth, and that is very much useful and beneficial for the country, for our country, because from mineral we'll get construction material, we'll form car, we'll get bridge, we'll form everything. So mineral is too much important for a economic benefit of a country, and it will get job to the other people. And it is basically of three types, like fossil fuel, metallic and non-metallic. And it will mineral deposit is there, from where we'll get mineral. Mineral deposit is there, we will extract mineral from that area, from ore. Now, mineral are the naturally occurring substance of definite chemical composition. They have a fixed chemical composition and very good and recognizable physical property. So those elements which are naturally occurring and having a definite chemical composition and recognizable physical property are called as mineral. And almost it is useful in every human activity, like construction, manufacturing, transportation, medical technology, science and electronics. All sectors utilizes mineral. What we understand from this point, mineral is very much important for a human activity, and every human activity depends on mineral. Like for construction we need mineral, for manufacturing of machines, anything, transportation, medical technology, science and electronics, all sectors utilize mineral very good amount. And what is mineral? Mineral is a ore or combination of mineral from which a useful substance or metal can be extracted, and it can be used as a useful product. So this is called as ore. Ore is nothing, is a mineral or combination of mineral. Many minerals are there in a ore. We will extract ore, and from that ore we will extract many minerals, and then from that mineral we will use as a metal, and then we will use it as a useful product. So minerals are formed over a period of millions of years in the earth crust. It is formed by over a million of years in the earth crust. And the common example of minerals are iron, aluminium, zinc, manganese, and copper. So this is a very common example of the mineral, and this is used as a raw material in many industrial use. So first Mineral is nothing but it is a naturally occurring substance that we'll get from the earth crust, naturally occurring substance that we'll get from earth crust. And it has a fixed, definite chemical composition and recognizable physical property. And mineral has use in many areas like construction, manufacturing, transportation, medical technology, science, and electronics. And all these sectors, mineral is very important. And mineral will get from the ore. Ore is nothing but is a combination of mineral from which a useful substance like metal can be extracted and used to manufacture a useful product. And it is formed over a period of million of years in the earth crust. Now we'll discuss about what is mineral, and it is a non-renewable. Mineral is a non-renewable energy resource. What does this mean? Non-renewable means we will not renew it because it takes too long time to be produced again. So it is we should use this mineral in a sustainable manner because it will take too long time to produce again. It is renewable, but it can be renewed, but it will take million and zillions of years to renew again. So we should use it in a sustainable manner, and everything is dependent on mineral also. So we'll get mineral from ore. From ore, we'll get our desired metal, which metal we want. Like we'll want aluminium, copper, nickel, zinc. So we'll get from ore, and then gangue is there. That is the waste material. It's nothing that is the waste material. The if by after extracting mineral from ore, the waste that is leftover waste is called as gangue. And gangue from the ore produce tailing particle of toxic metal blown by wind or leaching by rainfall can contaminate surface water and groundwater. So it will pollute groundwater and surface water also, because during the rainy area or by the wind, the heavy metals from that gangue is going to be leached out into the atmosphere, or it is going to be leached into the groundwater. So it is very harmful for environment also. And next step is smelting. Smelting is nothing but is a heating of ore to get separate desired metal. After heating this ore, we'll get our desired metal. Without proper equipment, sometimes without proper equipment, so it releases sulfur oxide and some suspended particles that damage vegetation and acidify soils. So extraction of mineral is harmful for environment also. So that's why we have to use this mineral in a sustainable manner. Like due to smelting, if somebody is not using proper instruments, proper machines for the smelting purpose, then air pollution will come and it will acidify the soil. Like that, ore will sometime also leached out into the rainfall and into the surface water and groundwater. Now comes to the next slide. This is about the life cycle of a metal resource. What will happen with the metal? We are discussing in this lecture. We are discussing about the mineral. So from mineral we'll get metal. So this picture is very clear about the what is the whole life cycle of a metal. First one is the surface mining. By the process of mining, we'll get the ore of that area. So by mining, we'll get metal ore. So from that ore, we'll separate metal. Then with the process of smelting, we will melt the metal. We'll melt the metal to take our desirable shape. In which shape we want. We want it for a construction purpose, for car purpose, whatever we want. So by smelting, it will be melted. Then we'll use that melting metal for the conversion of a product. We'll make car or whatever. And after discarding that product, we'll again use that metal for smelting. By the process of smelting, we'll melt that metal, and then we'll again use it in another area, whatever you want. If we want in construction, whether. So this is the basic life cycle of a metal. From mining area, we'll get the ore. By the ore, we'll separate the metal, and by the process of smelting, we'll melt the metal, and then by melting the metal, we'll convert to a product. And then after discarding the product, we'll again bring that metal into the smelting process, and then again we'll do this thing. So this is comes under recycling. We'll recycle the metal also. Now we'll discuss about the mining. Mining, from where we will get the metals. We'll get metal by the process of mining. And what is mining? Mining is the process of extracting metals, minerals like gold, silver, copper, uranium, and anywhere from formation that concentrate that is present naturally in the earth. So this is called as mining. Mining is nothing but those minerals that is present naturally in the earth will do by the process of mining. We'll extract that metal by the process of mining. And basically mining will done by two types. First one is surface mining and then underground mining. Surface mining is again divided into two types. First one is alluvial mining and then open cast mining. Alluvial mining is nothing but the deposition of alluvial soil on the process on the surface of the mining area. Then we'll get our desired metal like this. And then open cast mining will do by openly. This picture shows the open cast mining, first one picture. And this second picture, you can see that this is the process of underground mining. People will make hole in the underground, will make a path in the underground. They are living in underground and they are doing underground mining. So this is a very tough process, and underground mining is sometimes very much dangerous for the labor and workers. And this picture is all about the open cast mining and surface mining. Now, minerals, the classification of minerals. Classification of minerals is broadly divided into following way. Broadly, we can say that we'll divide mineral in three types. First one is metallic, then non-metallic, then energy metal. Metallic mineral is again divided into ferrous that contains iron, non-ferrous that don't contain iron, and some precious metals. Precious metal like those metal we are using in our ornaments like gold, silver, platinum. And non-metallic minerals are those which don't have metals like mica, salt, potash, sulfur, granite, limestone, marble, sandstone, etc. These are non-metallic minerals. And mineral though that will provide energy. These are those minerals like coal, petroleum, natural gas, petroleum and natural gas. These three are energy mineral. Non-metallic mineral, mica, salt, potash are non-metallic mineral, and metallic mineral is ferrous mineral. Ferrous means those containing Fe, means iron. So example of it is iron ore, manganese, nickel, cobalt, etc. And non-ferrous are those don't have iron, though which don't have ferrous. So these are copper, lead, and bauxite. Copper, lead, and bauxite. So now comes to the mineral resource of India. Like in India, mineral resource, India is very much rich in the mineral resource. India has lots of mines for all these minerals like coal, uranium, all mines India have. So we will categorize these mineral in two categories. First one is those minerals that will generate energy generating minerals, and commercially important mineral. So those mineral that will commercially important mineral. So energy generating minerals are coal and lignite. Will use in as a future fuel. Uranium is pitchblende and uranite ore is there, and the uranium mines is present in the Jharkhand, Andhra Pradesh, Nellore area, Meghalaya, and Rajasthan Ajmer area. And now comes to the commercially used mineral. Those minerals that is used as commercial properties, like that is using for the manufacturing of cars, manufacturing of bridge, in manufacturing purpose. So aluminium. First one is the aluminium. Aluminium is built extracted from the bauxite ore, and the aluminium mines is present in Jharkhand, West Bengal, Maharashtra, MP, and Tamil Nadu. And now iron ore. Iron is extracting from two ores, that is hematite and magnetite ore. And this its mining is in Jharkhand, Odisha, MP, AP, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and Goa. And then comes to the copper. Copper is obtained from the copper pyrite, and its mines is present in Rajasthan, Bihar, Jharkhand, Karnataka, MP, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, and Uttaranchal. Now, mineral resource of India. India is having a very dense mineral resource. Like India produces around 100 minerals, which is a very important source of exchanging currencies and domestic needs. And India import some good minerals like graphite, mercury, cobalt, and export some iron ores, granite, bauxite, titanium, and magnesium. And the availability of mineral in the country is uneven, and mineral quality varies from region to region. And some ores, some coal, manganese, mica, bauxite, copper are mostly found in Jharkhand, West Bengal, and Odisha. These regions are called as mineral heartland of India. So, in the some part of India like Jharkhand, West Bengal, and Odisha, three states is called as mineral heartland of India because the most important mineral like that is commercially used mineral coal, iron, manganese, mica, bauxite, copper, all are present in that area. And now it comes to the next, that is some gems are there like gems, marble, coal, mica, graphite, manganese are found in large amount in Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Maharashtra. And the major non-metal resource like coal, petroleum, limestone, bauxite, hematite, marble, as well as granite has a very much good amount of these non-metallic minerals are also present in India. So our mineral resource in India is very rich. Now, the use of this mineral in our daily life. So, we're going to discuss about its use in the present society. So, first of all, it is used in the development of plant and machinery. So, and then generation of energy like coal, lignite, uranium, construction, housing, settlement, some defense by constructing some defense equipments, weapons, armaments, transportation, communication, telephone, wire, cable, electronics, medicinal system, particularly Ayurvedic medicinal system, formation of alloys for various purposes. In agriculture, like fertilizer, seed dressing, and fungicides. For the jewelry purpose, like gold, silver, platinum, diamond. So these are the basic use of minerals. So you can see that mineral is used in every sector. Either it is in transport, it is in defense, it is in medical system, it is formation of alloy, it is in agriculture, it is for jewelry, it is for generation of energy, or it is for medicinal purpose, it is for development of industrial plant and machinery. So mineral is very much important for our daily life, for the economy of our country, because India is exporting some minerals also, exporting and importing some minerals also. So we should use minerals and all these things in a sustainable manner. Now comes to the environmental impact of mineral extraction and their use. So what is the impact of this mineral extraction in towards the environment? So the issue related to the limits of mineral resource in the earth crust or in the ocean is not so significant. That is not much important. Important is the environmental concern arise from the impact of extraction and processing of this mineral during smelting and mining processes. So during mining and smelting processes, they are directly affect the environment because these metal directly enters into the groundwater, directly pollute the groundwater, directly pollute the surface water, and on all those things. So we'll discuss about the severe problem caused by these mines to our environment. First one is the Jadugoda mines that is present in Jharkhand. That is a uranium mines, and this mines is exposing local people to radioactive hazard because uranium is a radioactive substance. So these mines is very much harmful for the local people because local people are getting the radioactive hazard. And now comes to the Jharia mines that is present in Jharkhand, and there is that is an underground mine. So underground fire is there in everywhere in Jharia district. You will get underground fire, and this underground fire will cause land subsidence, and it will cause forced displacement of the local people from that area. Now next is Sukina chromite mines that is present in Orissa, and there here again an environmental concern is there, that is shipping of hexavalent chromium into the river posing serious health hazard because this is hexavalent chromium is a carcinogenic, that will cause carcinogenic, and that shipping into the groundwater is very much toxic for the groundwater, and it is cancer causing substance, and this is very serious concern about mining mines. Now comes to the Kudurmukh iron ore mines that is present in Karnataka. It is causing river pollution and threats to the biodiversity. Now Next one is East Coast Bauxite Mine in Orissa. It is causing land encroachment and issue of rehabilitation. That is land encroachment and issue of rehabilitation. Rehabilitation of local people from that area, with displacement of local people from this area. Now comes to the northeastern coal field of Assam. It is having a very high amount of sulfur contamination. So from this example, with this example, we are discussing about the problems related to mine. We understand that the mining is not so simple. It is causing very much bad effect to the environment because it is carcinogenic. Sometimes somewhere it is causing land subsidence. It is uh, mm, spreading hexavalent chromium to the groundwater. It is exposing radioactive substance to the local people, and all these are very much carcinogenic and deformities. It will cause deformities to the people, local people also. Now comes to the point of conservation of mineral resource. Actually, we need mineral resource for our coming future, and it is very much important for our present generation, for our future generation also. So it is an essential for the development of a country because is with the mineral will make everything. Will make ornaments. Will make weapons for the defense purpose. And then next point is that increasing population in the world with better lifestyle are responsible for the utilization of mineral resources at a very fast rate, and the process of mineral formation are so slow that the rate of replenishment are very small in comparison to the present rate of utilization. So such sustainability again comes in that point. So what we understand, the mineral formation are so slow, the process of formation of mineral is very slow, and our use is too much. So according to our use, the rate of utilization and the product rate of formation of mineral is very slow. So we should use it in a sustainable manner. And next is the promotion of the use of improved technology, so to reduce the waste generation due to that extraction of mineral, and the promotion for the recycling of metal. We should do the recycling of metal also, and regulation of use of mineral resource. And now comes to the reduction in the undesirable consumption of mineral resource, and promotion of research toward providing eco-friendly alternatives for fossil fuel, metals, etc. So this is the important points for the conservation of mineral. Conservation of very mineral is very much essential. It is related with the development of the country, and increasing population is in the world is very fast. So that we need to do this conservation of mineral in a good way, and it's a process of formation is very slow as compared to the our rate of utilization. So we should also concentrate toward the recycling of metal. We should also do research to provide some eco-friendly method for the extraction of mineral, so that it won't harm to the environment. Now what we understand by this, the discussion of this mineral, what is the main theme of that mineral resource? First one is the sustainable. Mineral is a non-renewable resource. Non-renewable resource. So we should do sustainable use of this mineral. Sustainable use of this mineral. So what it is do not waste mineral resource. Recycle and reuse 60 to 80% of mineral resource, and our population growth should be low, reduce, and we should reduce the mining subsidence also. So this is the basic development lifestyle of a mineral. What is happening like that? Will land resource is there. Land resource is there for mineral exploration. It will take 8 to 10 years for the exploration that mineral is there or not. Then we'll take environmental assessment and approval from the stakeholder. Then construction will start of that area. Construction will take 1 to 3 years. Then operation is going to be there for 10 to 13 years. For 10 to 30 years, operation is there. And after operation and mining, it will go up to 10 to 30 years. And after operation and mining, closure is there for 1 to 2 years. After 1 to 2 years of that mining, closure will done. And after closing that mining, we'll do for reclamation, reclamation activity. So first 5 years we'll take by monitoring the like which activity is suitable for that place, for the closure of that mine. And then reclamation is there. Then again we'll make this land available for the resource. So it will take many years. So it will take many years. That's why we should use mineral in a very sustainable manner. And it will take almost 50 to means 50 hundreds of years for all these processes. So after available land resource, we'll again do exploration. Like an exploration will take 8 to 10 years, and then will take environmental assessment approval from the stakeholder and consultation, and then construction will take an operation closure, then reclamation of mines, then again we'll make use of that available land to the environment. Now comes to the land resource. Now that was all about the mineral resource, and we'll discuss now about the land resource. Land is regarded as the greatest among the natural resources. It is the very important in the natural resource. It is one of the important component of life support system. And land resource examples are landform like hills, valley, plain, river basin, wetlands are all our resource generating area that the people live in them depends upon. So the important features of land resource. Why land resource is very much important? It sustains many of living beings. Agriculture activities, animal husbandry will take place in that area. It supports forest and grasslands. Human settlement, wildlife depends on land. Industrialization, urbanization, construction of road and railway lines is possible due to availability of land. So land is very much important. It is related to basic daily life of a people. Now land degradation. What causes land degradation? These days land degradation is very prominent, and it is due to the population, urbanization, fertilizers and pesticide damage of topsoil and waterlogging condition. Population, more land is needed for producing food, fiber, fuel. With the increasing population, demands is also increasing. So it will cause over exploitation of land resource. Now comes to the urbanization. Urbanization reduces the agricultural land. Urbanization leads to deforestation that affects human, plants and animal activity. Now comes to the fertilizer. Fertilizer, you will use fertilizer for productivity, but it reduces the fertility of soil and causes land pollution. Now, damage of topsoil. Increase in food production generally leads to damage of topsoil through nutrient depletion. And now comes to the soil water logging. Due to water logging, erosion, soil erosion, salination, contamination is there that causes land degradation. Now the effects of land degradation. What will happen after the degradation of land? It will lose in the soil fertility, loss of valuable nutrients, increase in water logging, salinity, alkalinity and acidity problem, loss of economic, social and biodiversity, soil texture and soil structure is destructed due to the land degradation. Soil erosion. Now comes to the land degradation is caused due to the soil erosion. Soil erosion is nothing but only the removal of topsoil due to the pollution from one place to another place. And what causes soil erosion? First one is water. These are the agents of soil erosion. Is water. Due to water causes soil erosion in the form of rain, surface runoff, rapid flow and wave action. Next is wind. Wind is a climatic agent that is causing soil erosion. It will blow soil from one place to another place. Next is some biotic agent. What is biotic agents? These are the kettles due to overgrazing, some mining activities and deforestation. These are the biotic agents that is causing soil erosion. 35% of soil erosion is due to overgrazing and 30% is due to deforestation. 35% is due to overgrazing and 30% is due to deforestation. And now comes to the landslide. Landslide also causes soil erosion. And then construction also causes soil erosion, like dams, building road, remove protective vegetable. It will remove the first layer of the soil. Then top layer, if removal of top layer leads to soil erosion. Now comes to the soil erosion and their types. How many type of soil erosion is there? First one is normal soil erosion, sheet erosion, rill erosion, gully erosion, wind soil erosion. Soil erosion, first one, normal soil erosion is a removal of topsoil by any means, like by wind, by water, by biotic agent, by overgrazing, by deforestation or any method. And now sheet erosion, it refers to the uniform removal of soil over a large area from the surface of sloping land by rain or water. And now comes to the erosion of soil is eroding of soil in core used by the rainwater running along the slope in the form of channel. And now comes to the gully erosion. It refers to the eroding of soil in the course by rainwater running along the slope in the form of rills or valleys. And now wind, soil erosion caused by wind, more affecting, and that is very much common in arid and semi-arid region. This is the picture of soil erosion and their type. First one is sheet erosion. Sheet erosion that will remove in the form of sheet of the first layer of the soil. Uniform removal of soil over a large surface. You can see that in this picture. This is a uniform removal of soil from a large surface. And now real erosion. Real erosion is nothing but the removal of soil in the core used by rainwater and running along the slope. Here you can see that slope is there, and that is formed by the rainwater, and then erosion is then takes place. And then gully erosion, it will create a space below between the soil due to running water and slope in the form of channel. This is called as gully erosion. Now comes to the control of soil erosion. How we will control this soil erosion? So first one is the conservation tillage, then organic farming, crop rotation, contour plogging, mulching, strip cropping, and terrace farming. What is conservation tillage? Conservation tillage is nothing but the process of mixing residue from previous crop into the soil by plogging is called as conservation tillage. Organic farming by the dominant use of organic farming by reducing the use of chemical fertilizer. And next is crop rotation, process of growing different crop in successive year on the same land. Rotation of crop, it prevents the loss of fertility of the soil. Contour plogging also, it is very useful in the area of low rainfall, where people will make contour and then they will do their crops. And now is second is the mulching. This is the conversion of crop residue and other form of plant litter, and then planting of crop in row to check flow of water. First, that is strip cropping. This is very prominent, and this is very much useful in today's days. Terrace farming is the conversion of steep slope in a series of broad terrace which run across the contour. Now that's all about the control of soil erosion, and thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.